In this video, I'd like to give you a quick introduction to the RTSA GUI. I will give you a deeper dive into each of the functionalities in later videos, but this is a good place to start to give an overall feeling on how to operate the RTSA GUI. This is the default screen when you boot up. It's full span. In this case, it's an 8 gigahertz unit, and the frequency span functionality or menu comes up. And you can change these as required for your particular measurement that you want to make. Same thing with amplitude. It brings up the amplitude menu, and now you can change this reference level scale per division, zero reference level offset if you have one, and attenuation. In the 8 gigahertz model, it comes up with the 20 dB attenuator on. You only have a choice of 0 or 20 dB on the 8 gig, and on the 18 and 27 gigahertz they can be 1 dB steps. Bandwidth, you have the ability to set the bandwidth to whatever you like, and if I set it manually, it will be reflected down here. Oops, I should try kilohertz, not megahertz. And now I have a hashtag in front of the resolution bandwidth telling me that's been manually set, but video bandwidth is still in the auto mode, giving me a 1-to-1 ratio between resolution bandwidth and video bandwidth. We'll get into that in more detail later too. Display allows me to turn on a line for reference, visual reference if I so desire, and you can drag this wherever you would like as well as dialing in the actual level. Frequency span, which we just covered. Marker, you have up to 12 markers, and I'll get into that in the marker video. You can change the frequencies. You can have normal, fixed, and a delta marker. You can have a marker table on, etc. Mesh setup, that's where I go for any particular setups. In this case, spectrum analyzer mode, the only setup I have is what is the trace averaging value. In this case, it's 100. That is the default setting when I set trace to average. Mode measure, what mode do I want to be in? Spectrum analyzer mode, RTSA mode, in swept analyzer mode, or channel power mode. So when I'm in channel power mode, mesh setup will also have my integration bandwidth, and that's where I would go to set up all my parameters for channel power. And as we add more functionality, that's where you'll go. Peak search, the same 12 markers. You can again set the marker frequencies and power. You can move them around, find the peaks, etc. And again, I'll get into that in deeper detail. You can always have the one marker continuously finding the peak. If I turn that on, it's always going to follow wherever the peak is if I leave that continuous peak on. Sweep tells me what sweep mode I'm in, and when I'm in spectrum analyzer mode, I have sweep normal, which is the fastest way to sweep accuracy, which gives me the best amplitude accuracy, and then advanced modes, which I'll get into later. Trace, up to 6 traces, a right trace, trace average, max hold, min hold. I can make the trace any color I want, and I can view it or blank it and turn it back on. Trigger is used in real-time mode for a real-time trigger, and you can set its start and stop frequencies on when you want to trigger the measurements. And system allows me to look at the decimation rate in real-time mode and zoom in on a real-time measurement. And we're back to preset all, brings me back to where we were. The markers went off, the display line went off, and I've preset the instrument. Over here in the upper left-hand corner, we have, I can open a device and connect to any device I can see on my subnet. And if I know the IP address of any connected device on the internet around the world, I can connect to it by plugging in the IP address. Play back a recording that I've previously recorded. I can load settings that I've saved for a particular display function and what frequencies, spans, reference levels, what views I want, spectrogram view, etc. All of that can be saved in a configuration. Here's start recording, stop recording. You can export the data into a CSV, and more device information, and of course close the program. You can close it here in the exit menu, or close it with the close window that comes standard in Windows. One last thing, I can change things right here very quickly if I want. Don't have to call up the particular menu, and I can change things very quickly here. So that's a quick overview of the RTSA GUI. We hope you find this information useful and user-friendly, and thank you for your time. To give you a